Yeah, I really love that. I used to sell at the community level many years ago, and uh, you know, it was always so disarming just to make a human statement at the beginning of the call to say, "How are you doing today?" Because I'm guessing this is the most difficult call you're going to make today. And people they might have called those 8 or 9 other communities, and the other communities were like name, address, phone, zip. How'd you hear about us? What medications are your mom on? And then they started using words like ADL and assistive device. And we get into that. And I don't know why you think that happens. Is it that we've been combat trained? Is it that we're led by our inquiry sheet? And if we miss a question, we're going to get in trouble? Is it that we allow our CRM to control the sales interaction because we know we have to fill in those fields in order to enter it into the CRM? Or is it because we're just not comfortable being more emotional? What do you think?
Yeah, great question. I love what you started off with, Debbie. It's like this is probably the most difficult call you're gonna have to make today, and maybe not even today, maybe in the whole month or the whole year. But I think it's a combination of things that yeah, anybody that knows me, that's heard me speak, and I've publicly spoken about it. Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of inquiry sheets, um, especially for seasoned sales counselors. I do think that we get tied down to it. We treat it more like an interview process. We kind of check the block and like, yeah, I've asked this question, asked this question. We don't go any deeper. And yeah, some of those inquiry sheets and those questions are built into the CRM. And yeah, then we still sound very robotic, so interview. But part of that is also a training issue. I think sales people need to go back to the basics and really learn the process of sales training, and that falls on the leadership. The leadership has got to get involved. It can't be just the sales counselors. EDs need to get involved. Regionals need to get involved. Executives need to get involved and really create a sales culture, define what that culture looks like, what that process looks like, and then hold people accountable for it. And I know the accountable word is a word that some people like, oh my gosh, it's like big brother, big sister looking at me. But we all need to be held accountable for certain things. And when it comes to our sales process, most of us, even though we have sales trainers and we say that we have a sales process, most of us don't have a process. Most companies don't even have a sales culture. And that's where I was asked and encourage leaders to really focus, look at that inquiry. Now, don't get me wrong. Inquiry sheets, I think, are good for folks that are coming into the industry that don't really understand the industry, maybe very new at selling and don't even know where to even start asking the questions. But to me, that's kind of just a starter sheet. If you're going to use an inquiry sheet, I like to have
Hmm.
like cheater questions. Maybe a list of few questions that I can ask. I love that the question you just said, like this is probably one of the most difficult phone calls you'll make today, is a great way that you could really start almost any call and really get that person on the other end of the phone call to really open up. So yeah, it's a combination of a variety of different things.